Well, I'm Professor Ann Austin, and I'm director of the center. And I'd like to first of all welcome and recognize the women who have received these awards in the past. So are there any of you here tonight who have received either the Early Career or the Lifetime Achievement Award? And if so, okay, well, there is someone? Oh, there is someone. Who is the? Oh, Terry, of course. I'm sorry, Terry, but from now on you get recognized every year. Same with you people the new honorees. Okay, welcome also to the family and friends of the women that we're honoring tonight. And a very special welcome to our honorees, to Dr. Stephanie Chambers Thomas and her family, and especially her adorable little person, to Dr. Jessica Lucero, and I'm sure you brought an adorable two people as well, and Dr. Christy Glass. I'm sorry, I'm a child developmental psychologist, so my mind sort of goes to that, to little children. Excuse me. Welcome also to the faculty members who received a research grant from the center for this past academic year. And as you probably noticed as you came in, they're presenting a summary of their work in poster board format in the back of the room. And so when we adjourn for refreshments, you'll be able to enjoy their work. Welcome also to the undergraduate and graduate students who will be inducted tonight into TRIOTA. TRIOTA is the Women and Gender Studies Honorary, and we are so pleased to recognize them for completing their course of work in Women and Gender Studies with distinction. On February 16th, our center was honored to host Mr. Nicholas Kristof, a Pulitzer Prize-winning author and New York Times journalist. Mr. Kristof stated, "In general, the best clue to a country's potential for growth and development is the status and role of women. Unfortunately, Utah ranks either last or almost last according to the following overall indicators of the status of women. These include the number of women in elected office on a state level as well as nationally. And parenthetically, I'd like to just note that since the 19th century, we have only had 3 women in congressional office in the National Congress. Okay, we're also last or next to last with regard to the gender wage gap and the per capita public funds that are spent on early childhood education and child care quality. So Utah clearly has a long, long way to go, but it is the goal of the Center for Women and Gender to move us substantially along that path. Tonight we honor those who understand the important role of women in the growth and development of our state and in the growth and development of communities and families. And we honor them. They understand the rippling effects of action and the importance of focusing on common goals of equity. The students have shown this through their passion for social justice, and students will be so happy to honor you in just a few minutes. Goals of equity will be clearly demonstrated through each of the research projects that you will get to see. And of course, the stunning achievements of our honorees reflect a single-minded dedication to equity and to empowerment. I would like to thank all of those who made this evening possible. Thanks to Stephanie Bagnell. The program coordinator for the center. Thanks to Renee McBride, our administrative assistant and brains. And thanks to our student support team, Justin Wheeler, Lily Palmer, Jara Fowler, the Perspectives Club officers and members, and the young women from the Center for Women and Gender's Leadership Initiative. And this was the first year for the Leadership Initiative, I just would like to say. Okay, thanks also to the Kane Jazz Combo, who performed for you before we officially convened. Yes. Yeah. It wasn't really clear what they were going to do. I said to Steph, are they singing? Are they playing? What are they doing? And she said, well, I don't know. I know they're having a mic check. And then about an hour ago, she said, now they talked about getting their instruments ready. So, we assumed that there'd be some instrumentalism there. But it's great. You guys, what you have done is wonderful, and what you will do is wonderful. Just a word to those of you who will speak this evening. We know you want to adhere to the time allotment that we've given you, and so our dear Renee will signal to you if you're getting near your end of time. But according to what everybody's told me, they're intending to speak for their 5 minutes and then sit down. Okay, Stephanie Bagnell will now carry forward with the Triota induction.
Iota, 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 or Triota, was founded in the Metropolitan State University of Denver in the fall of 1992 in order to recognize the academic achievements of students in women's studies. The Greek letter iota was selected for the name representative of the three goddesses, Iona, Ishtar, and Isis. Iona can be considered the most prominent female deity in the ancient Mesopotamia, and is the Sumerian goddess of sexuality, love, fertility, and warfare. Ishtar is the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility, war, love, and sex. She is the counterpart to the Sumerian Iona and is the cognate for the Armenian goddess Astarte. Isis is a goddess in ancient Egyptian religious beliefs who was worshipped throughout the Greco-Roman world. She worshipped as the ideal mother and wife, as the patroness of nature and magic. Isis is the goddess, Iota, Iota, Iota strives to maintain feminist values central to the women and gender studies and encourages diversity, egalitarianism, and supportive academic environment for all students. Currently, there is over 100 chapters of the Iota, Iota, Iota at universities and colleges nationwide. Our chapter, the Gamma, Gamma, Gamma chapter, was founded at Utah State University in 2012, so we're newer. Students in this program have to complete at least 6 hours of women and gender studies and have a 3.0 or higher in order for induction. So this year we're excited because we have 6 members being inducted into the Women and Gender Studies program, or the honors program. And so we will introduce them. Students, as I introduce your name, please come up and get your pin, your honor cord, and your certificate. Carla Romano is a family, consumer, and human development major at a women's studies minor. Ace Bjorkia is a sociology master's and is pursuing the graduate certificate in women and gender studies. Kirsten Griffin is a social work major and a women and gender studies minor. Mikkel Hansen is working on her the Women and Gender Studies undergrad certificate and is majoring in sociology. Gabriella, or Gabby Nellis, is majoring in psychology and minoring in women and gender studies. And last, Lily Palmer is majoring in early childhood education and minoring in women and gender studies. Thank you, students, for all your hard work.
All right, Combo, would you like to come up and favor us with more of your great music, please? And if one of you wants to tell us a little bit about what you're playing and about your group, whatever you want, that'd be great.
Yeah, so like she said, we're the Cane Jazz Combo, and we play jazz. We're going to play for you now a jazz standard called Moanin', so enjoy. Oh, I can introduce us, I guess. So I'm Carrie Lee Beck. This is Bridger Bush. We got Aaron Walker and Sean Hebner, Ivan Giggy, Whitney Eliason, and then Justice Ferguson. So that is us. Hey, Sean, can you give me my Every morning find me moaning 'cause of all the trouble I've seen. Life's a losing gamble to me. Cares and woes that got me moaning. Every evening find me moaning. I'm alone and singing the blues. I'm so tired of paying these dues. Everybody knows I'm moaning. Lord, I spend many a days and nights along with my grief. Lord, I pray, really and truly pray, somebody will come and bring me relief. Every morning find me moaning 'cause of all the trouble I've seen. Life's a losing gamble to me. Cares and woes that got me moaning. Every morning find me moaning 'cause of all the trouble I've seen. Life's a losing gamble to me. Cares and woes that got me moaning. Every evening find me moaning. I'm alone and singing the blues. I'm so tired of paying these dues. Everybody knows I'm moaning. Lord, I spend many a days and night alone with my grief. Lord, I pray, really and truly pray, somebody will come and bring me relief. Every morning find me moaning 'cause of all the trouble I've seen. Life's a losing gamble to me. Cares and woes that got me moaning. Thank you.
All right. Before we go on to our early career, I want to recognize Michelle Hickson. I recognized everybody else in the center for their work on the event tonight, and I didn't recognize Michelle. Michelle's our Women and Leadership Initiative Coordinator. So, Michelle, thank you very much. All right. Dr. Shannon Brown, you are up now, as well as Dr. Jess Lucero. We're now doing our Early Career Awards, and Dr. Shannon Brown will announce the Early Career Award for the university.
Have you ever had a coworker come into your office and spend several minutes telling you how awesome you are? Probably not, because that would win the award for the most awkward moment of the year. Well, luckily, thanks to the Center for Women and Gender, this is my opportunity to do something similar, but in a much less awkward context. Let me tell you about the amazing Jessica Lucero, this year's recipient of the Center for Women and Gender Early Career Achievement Award. Professionally, Jess excels in every way imaginable, including as a researcher, a community leader, and a teacher. As a researcher, she has pursued an innovative line of research that considers the ways neighborhood characteristics impact vulnerable individuals and communities. Her work engages collaborators from across the country to pursue community-level, social justice-oriented research that will affect social policy in innumerable and meaningful ways. As a community leader, Jess uses the insights of her research and her training to strengthen communities, including our own. Her community leadership in the areas of sexual violence, mental illness, housing discrimination, and refugee support, just to name a few, is making our community more just, more fair, and more equal. As a teacher, her contributions are unmatched. Just as she is pushing the boundaries of her field and the capacity of her community, she also challenges students to realize their full potential. Her students engage in hands-on research and community action initiatives, receive exceptional training in research methods and community engagement, and graduate with an unparalleled set of skills and capabilities to help marginal and vulnerable populations. I wish I had more time to share with you all the examples that illustrate Jess's excellence in all three of these professional roles. However, I've been limited only to several minutes. So with my remaining 0 minutes left, let me briefly talk about Jess, the person. A few months ago, I read a handout about avoiding gender bias in reference writing. It was really helpful in informing me that women are often honored only in ways that reinforce gender stereotypes. So instead of being lauded for being accomplished, skilled, knowledgeable, insightful, independent, and intellectual, women are often only praised for being caring, compassionate, and warm. All traits that, while positive, tend to evoke gender stereotypes. Well, make no mistake, Jess is accomplished, skilled, insightful, independent, and intellectual. But I simply can't introduce her without also saying that she is one of the most empathic, warm, and genuine people I've ever met. her husband Steve, her 3 daughters, Avi, Nora, and Romy, the rest of her family, her colleagues, her students, her community, and I couldn't be more blessed to have her in our lives. Jess, congratulations on receiving this prestigious award.
Thank you for that, Shannon. It is an incredibly deep honor for me to receive this award tonight. I'm here because of dear friends, supportive family, outstanding mentors, and students who inspire me. I regularly think about how lucky I am to do the job that I do on a daily basis. I get to talk about big ideas with colleagues, crunch numbers, kind of a geek like that, and ask new research questions. I get to do research in, alongside, and for my community, and I get to learn with and, more importantly, from my students. I get to witness their growth, and I get to champion them along the way. Like Shannon said, my own scholarship focuses on how the social and physical environments in which we live serve to open up or constrain our life chances. The places that I've lived and the people I've connected to in these places have opened up countless opportunities for me. I grew up in a small town in Wyoming with parents who regularly told me, and they truly believed it, that I could be anything that I wanted to be. I credit my mom, who's here, for giving me my big heart, and my dad for giving me my work ethic. First in Laramie and later in Detroit, and now in Logan, I have found mentors who support me in my work, but more importantly, they care about me as a person. It has been these women and men who have shown me a viable path for building my career, balancing my family, finding meaning in my work, and investing in the things that I care deeply about. I'm thrilled that I'm now in a position to offer this model of mentorship to my own students, especially my female students. Oftentimes, they worry about how they will also balance those demands of family and their work. And I'm excited every chance I get to have conversations with those young women in my office. The environmental forces that have shaped my own life have been unreasonably kind. But none more than my partner, Steve. We have 3 smart and spunky, sassy little girls right here. And I've already impressed upon them, especially my oldest, Avi, my 6-year-old, just how important it is to find a partner who will unequivocally support their aspirations. And it doesn't hurt if he also does all the laundry. My sincerest thanks to the Center for Women and Gender, my wonderful colleagues and students who nominated me for this award. I thank you.
This is a beautiful drawing of Old Main. And so, one of my favorites, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Congratulations. All right, Joyce. Dr. Joyce Kincaid is reading the introduction for our Early Career Award for Community Woman. And the community woman is Dr. Stephanie Chambers Thomas.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you. I'm Joyce Kincaid. I'm a professor of English here at the university, and you might wonder how a professor of English ever got to know a physician. Well, I happened... as an undergraduate. Well, I actually happened to get to know Stephanie when I was directing the undergraduate research program at Utah State. And it was in my very early moments of directing the undergraduate research program. And I was on KUSU radio being interviewed about undergraduate research. This is 2001. And fortunately, I'd had an excellent mentor myself in undergraduate research, Dr. David Peake in the Department of Physics, because what does an English professor know about research? I mean, really, okay? And so I'm on the radio giving an interview about undergraduate research and what we're going to do at Utah State to really make our research program for students even more robust. And it was a call-in program. And so we get a call from Stephanie Chambers. And she says she's interested in helping me really make that research program more robust. And she had been doing research at the University of Utah in a summer lab position. And let me tell you that Stephanie is an entering student to Utah State at this point, a first-year student, a freshman, and she's interested. And here I am on the radio, and I have to say, well, why don't you give me a call at my office, and maybe we could get in touch and see what we could do together. And as a result, Stephanie came in to see me, and I said, you know, I really don't know a lot about what I'm doing yet, but maybe together, even though you're a brand new student, we could do that collaboratively. Well, in that first year, Stephanie became, okay, and I made this title up for her, okay? I called her the Martha Hughes Cannon Fellow, okay? And I don't know if you know this, but Martha Hughes Cannon was really one of the very first physicians in Utah in the 19th century. And she was our first woman senator in the state of Utah, okay? And I just said, we're going to call you the Martha Hughes Cannon Fellow, you know, because I had a little bit of money, so I gave that to Stephanie. And together, Stephanie and I created our state capitol event, our Posters on the Hill event in 2002. And so that's celebrated 15 years of a way to demonstrate that Utah State University, as a research university, makes a qualitative difference in an undergraduate's education. She helped me re-envision our student symposium for the university. She helped me in countless ways, and she was a first-year student at the university. So I got to have her as a research assistant in an administrative role. I didn't have the pleasure of working with Stephanie in scientific labs. Brett Adams, Joni Hevel, John Takamoto, they all got to work with Stephanie. And those were absolutely crucial mentors to her, and which enabled her to achieve a national award, the Goldwater Scholarship, one of only 300 students nationally recognized that year for her research, which had to be performed when she was just a second or third year student. She presented at the National Conference on Undergraduate Research, and she went on to graduate from Utah State in 2005. She then proceeded to move into medical studies at the University of Utah, from which she graduated in 2010. Okay? Throughout her career, Stephanie has been interested in women's issues. She's been a peer advisor. She was the president of Women in Medicine. She, as a physician now herself, she is providing guidance to future physicians, particularly to women, and she's demonstrating in powerful ways that a woman can do it all. She can be a physician, she can be a wife, she can be a mother. And I am so proud to say that she is now my physician and taking care of me. Dr. Stephanie Chambers Thomas.
So thank you very much for this award, and for Joyce for that wonderful introduction. And to my family and friends who've come here tonight to celebrate. I really like what Dr. Lucero said, in that every day she feels lucky and knows how lucky she is to be doing the job that she has. I really love my work as a physician, both in the family medicine clinic and in the emergency room. And one of the reasons that I really love my work is because I get to change the way that people see women and what women can do. When I was in West Virginia in training, the patients would call me doctor nurse because it was really hard for them to understand that a female on their care team wasn't the doctor, or was the doctor. In the ER, I encounter a lot of people who are expecting a male physician. And I had a patient who came in, was expecting a male physician, and had an abnormal heart rhythm, needed a procedure called a cardioversion, which is where you administer a medication that temporarily stops the heart, and then it restarts in a regular beat. And as I explained this to him, to consent him to this procedure, I think he thought he was going to die. And I may be making assumptions about him, but I don't think he'd ever had a female in his life have a responsibility over him or something that significant. And after the procedure, and he was feeling much better, and it worked, and he was surprised. I was not. I wanted to tell him, other ladies can do this too, but I think he won't ever look at females quite the same way. I enjoy being a role model, and I take that role really seriously. I don't think I always do a fantastic job, but I've had women that bring their grandkids and their friends into the ER just to sit in the hallway so they could see a female doctor. I think that's a little bit unusual, but it is northern Utah and rural Idaho. So, but when I think about why I'm here today, it is because of mentors like Joyce Kincaid and others that have taken me seriously and said, hey, I believe that you really are going to accomplish what you want to. Jonathan didn't know this until last night, but when I was 13, I sent a letter to the dean of Harvard Medical School asking for information about their medical school program. And I actually got a letter back. It was a huge packet with a whole bunch of information, and he'd also gotten the student aid office to send me information. And as a 13-year-old, you really don't know that that's a little odd. That's your plan. And I think it's a series of events when people take you seriously, and I hope that we can all take young people seriously in what they want to do and provide opportunities for them to achieve those things. So thank you, Joyce, for doing that for me. And thank you very much.
We had no nominees for the Lifetime Achievement Award for the community, but we did for the campus. And Dr. Rhonda Collister now is going to read the introduction for Dr. Christy Glass.
So Christy may be younger than the typical age for a Lifetime Achievement Award. But this is what one of our graduate students had to say. I'm aware that Dr. Glass is young for the award, but I believe her accomplishments and leaders rise to the level of this award. I sincerely hope that the Center for Women and Gender will strongly consider her for the Lifetime Achievement Award. And I agree. Christy Glass actively combats inequality through her research, teaching, and service. But most importantly, through her personal actions that go above and beyond what she does in her career. But let's start with her career. She focuses on research on mothers and women CEOs. She's looking for efforts to document occupational inequalities that confront women and minorities and more importantly, to uncover the complex mechanisms that account for the occurrence and persistence of these inequalities. Her work addresses two primary questions: how and why employers discriminate against mothers, and how promotion factors and gender influence leadership within firms, and the consequences of those disparities for firm performance. Her work in this area has generated significant interest from the press. She's been interviewed many times about her work, allowing her to disseminate this important work on gender equity to the general public. In addition, she serves as the faculty advisor for the Sociology Student Research Consortium, which mentors undergraduate research addressing topics related to gender and inequality. Many of the students associated with the Research Consortium present their work at the annual conference of the Pacific Sociological Association. Dr. Glass has provided the tools and resources for young scholars to not only explore questions related to gender and inequality, but to present their meaningful research to a broader audience. She also serves as a member of the board of directors for the nonprofit organization Real Women Run. Dr. Glass works to train and encourage women in Utah to run for elected office. She personally funded the registration fees for interested sociology students to attend the Real Women Run training sessions, and she believed by funding them that it would encourage greater participation at younger ages. Dr. Glass has also organized multiple events on the campus at Utah State that have brought diverse groups together to discuss and work through issues and reactions concerning the recent election. She lives by the feminist mantra, "The personal is political." Anyone walking into her office will immediately notice the pink hat framed and prominently displayed on her wall. It's the hat that she proudly wore while marching in the Washington, D.C. Women's March. She always stands up to fight for the underprivileged and the underrepresented. Her modus operandi is education, and she is brilliant in her ability to connect with young minds and open them to ideas of difference and diversity. In addition to her academic work, she continues to advocate for women in all aspects of her life. On campus, she organized a monthly cross-disciplinary research discussion group for any faculty or graduate students interested in more deeply studying all topics related to gender. This GRIN organization is attended by those doing gender research, and they schedule a time to present at one of the meetings. We meet monthly and discuss the manuscript and provide feedback to the authors. This has produced many fruitful brainstorming sessions that have helped each of us who have participated improve and refine our work and move towards publishing studies on gender with the ultimate goal of influencing understanding and change. Since the presidential election, Christy has been especially compassionate, organizing several events to share and help people process some of the pain they may have experienced in the aftermath of the election. One of the events was a panel on the Women's March on Washington. She brought together and facilitated a panel of women who participated. It was an inspiring and uplifting session with people attending from across campus. During the presentations, there was a slideshow of combined photos of USU participants, highlighting many women carrying clever and inspiring posters. Another event she organized was a book discussion centered on the book by Arlie Hochschild, Strangers in Our Land. Arlie is a liberal sociologist from Berkeley who decided to travel to Louisiana and interview members of the Tea Party, and she did this for 5 years, trying to empathetically understand and bridge the deep divide that we see in this country. I participated in this reading group, and in the discussion with the 20 or so people that showed up, I found it extremely helpful in increasing understanding and diminishing negative judgments of people that don't think the same way. Christy approached this discussion, as she does with essentially everything, with deep respect and desire to learn more from those that she read about. She is like this with all those she interacts with. And I learned a great deal from both the book and the discussion about becoming more empathetic. I doubt I would have even been aware of this resource had I not known Christy. The next event she organized was a panel of scholars from various disciplines across campus, political science, communications, sociologists, to discuss the implications of recent government changes. She moderated this discussion and kept the tone respectful and informative. About 100 people showed up on relatively short notice. In addition to all that she does to help women on campus, it goes far beyond campus. What impresses me most is her kind heart and desire to make a positive difference, lifting and strengthening others. After the news broke in the Salt Lake Tribune that Utah State had a sexual predator on campus who assaulted multiple women on this campus, Christy, feeling great empathy for the victim's pain, organized women on campus that wanted to show support, led an effort to write an empathetic letter to these women that was published in the Salt Lake Tribune, showing them their concern and compassion. To summarize, Christy actively researches and publishes on gender, trying to influence perspectives across the globe. But all her actions involve compassion and empathy and support for women and the downtrodden, and they permeate every aspect of her interactions with people and with life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Rhonda. It is beyond humbling to be introduced by someone and supported by someone who has done so much for so many on this campus and in this community. I'm so lucky to know you and to be a partner with you in these efforts. I want to thank those who supported my nomination in addition to Rhonda, Allie Cook, my friend and research partner extraordinaire, Alicia Ingersoll, the most amazing graduate researcher on the planet. I want to thank my other students here tonight, the incomparable Helga Van Meegroot, Ace Bjorkia, Josh, Savannah, Mary, Rachel. You guys inspire me every single day by reminding me why I do this work. I also want to thank the other amazing women who received awards tonight, Jess Lucero and Dr. Stephanie Thomas, who together with Carrie Bell take care of my mind, body, and soul and allow me to keep showing up day after day. And of course, thanks to Ann Austin and the center and the staff of the center for creating such an important and vital place on campus to work together toward equality. You know, I stand before you tonight as somebody who is so very, very lucky, right? I have parents who worked hard and sacrificed to send me to college, where I benefited from professors who pushed me as hard as they mentored me. I have a partner, Shannon Brown, this magical creature, this unicorn in human form, who inspires in me joy and fearlessness in equal measure. He teaches me every single day that the most important thing I can do is laugh and then laugh some more, usually at myself, usually at his instigation. This award tonight, for example, is a source of never-ending ridicule. And I'm sure my speech will just be more fodder for the mill. But see, this is the thing. When you're laughing at yourself, you can't take yourself too seriously, right? But beyond being extraordinarily lucky, I'm also incredibly privileged, and I feel like I need to acknowledge that. While my gender has far too often led some to question my competence, the color of my skin has meant that my membership in institutions of higher learning has never been challenged. And of course, my class privilege means that I have the unimaginable honor of being able to think, teach, and learn for a living. And in reflecting on this good fortune, I can't help but be reminded of the ways in which this privilege increasingly serves to separate me and to separate my life course from that of so many others. And for me, the challenges of closing the privilege gap have never been more pressing and the stakes have never been more high. For me, at its core, feminism is about removing the barriers to achieving our full humanity as individuals and as communities. My hope is that in recognition of this historical moment, all of us in this room will redouble our efforts to fight against this growing privilege gap in our society. That we'll redouble our efforts to recruit and retain faculty and students of color. Their voices and perspectives are needed in our classes and our research labs more than they ever have before. That we'll fight to end sexual assault on this campus because navigating trauma is too high a price for a college degree. That will support women's advancement by supporting their reproductive needs and choices. That means starting with comprehensive sex education for girls all the way to affordable childcare for parents and everything in between. That together we'll work to make this campus a place where our LGBTQ students, friends, and colleagues are safe and supported by resisting any attempts to justify bigotry and discrimination against them. And that will, with joy and excitement, support the foreign-born members of our community, our students and their families, who confront unimaginable fear and uncertainty about the future in this historical moment. My hope is that together we'll work toward these things in solidarity and unapologetically, because it's who we are, it's what we believe, and because it's the right thing to do. As a sociologist, I'll be the first to admit that change is slow, except when it's not. My hope is that by the time Jess's daughters, Avi, Nora, and Romy, and Dr. Thomas's son, William, are student leaders on this campus, they will find a fairer and more just place to learn and grow. I think we owe them that. Thank you.
New Triota students and Stephanie, Jess, and Christy, many, many, many congratulations. And now we get to move to the back of the room and look at the research posters for those women who received the research award, a research award from the Center for academic year 2016-2017. We have a new competition that's just ended. We haven't yet named the winners for that competition, but come back next year and you'll be able to see their research posters as well. Thank you, everybody, for this evening, and thank you all for all that you do to inspire us and inspire each other. I was at a gathering excuse me, the other evening, and someone was saying, oh, what is our future coming to? And I said it's coming to very wonderful things because of the great students we have and all the wonderful mentors that I see on campus. So thank you, everybody, for helping us celebrate those people tonight. And Jazz Combo, we'll turn the time over to you as we boogie back. Can I say boogie? Is that okay? As we boogie back and look at the research and get some food. Thank you.